And here we go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to BWTM Sports. Not too long before the new year, and we have a very special guest all the way from Florida, or should we say Russia, middleweight champ, Matt Korobov. Matt, how are we doing?
Hi, everyone. I'm still with the Christmas holidays. I'm enjoying my time with the family, home, my child. So that's good. They're in school.
Hold on, Matt. You're still a bit low, so hold on. Let me get this. Let me fix this up for you. Hold on.
Oh, you keep it now?
Yeah, you're still a bit low. Hold on. Let me fix this for you,
Uh-huh.
and we'll get you louder. People are still coming into the room. Okay. Let's uh, let's try again, shall we? Okay. Try now, Matt.
Hi, everybody. Keep it now?
Yeah, you've got to speak louder, Matt. It's really quiet. You're
Oh,
whispering.
okay. All right. Should I repeat it or just?
Yeah, start again. Be louder, Matt. Be louder.
Okay.
You ready? Start again.
Yes.
Good afternoon, Matt.
Hi. Good afternoon. Uh, yeah, I'm good. I'm full on holiday with my family. Like kind of on the mood for the holiday shopping and celebration. So everything's good.
Well, we saw you fight not too long ago against Jamal Charlo. Now, I'd like to know the background as to before the fight actually happened. What were you doing before you got the call for the fight, Matt?
I was preparing, for the undercard fights. So I was training on the schedule, not like on a complete camp. It should be for especially for the title fight. So and I was just, having the like a week before the fight. That was exactly Saturday in the morning. So I was sleeping after my morning sessions. And yeah, I have a phone call from my manager, Mike Barral. And yeah, he just told me, like, looks like we're gonna fight in Charlo, for the title. And I was like, okay, so my answer was like right away, yes, of course, So then we just make a few adjustments as much as we can to get ready. So that was it.
So, if you were to, if you were honest and you were to say, how fit or how ready were you to fight? I know you're a consummate pro, Matt, but how ready were you to fight? Um,
Well, I mean, yeah, on the percentage, like I would say, I mean, like 70-80%, because I wasn't having like that kind of quality spot. We did a good work for the preparation and stuff, but that was more like I was pushing myself to get ready in my mind, mentality, so on physically as well. So, and that's for sure. I wasn't 100%, and everybody know that. So, but at least I did. I think I did well with that shape that I was on that night. So you just kind of couldn't imagine, if I wasn't at camp and preparing for, especially for him, that I know that up front that I'm preparing for this kind of guy.
okay, so you've got untold experience fighting as an amateur and obviously being a pro. So you're an experienced pro. You weren't naive. You're not wet behind the ears. So in terms of when they say a fighter's ticking over in the gym and you're preparing for an undercard fight, so how many rounds was the duration of your undercard fight?
That was their plan, the 8th round fight. So the training was based on the like 8, 10, 12 rounds too, but it's in your head, and actually there was a plan to kind of get back on the ring, feel the atmosphere, stuff. There was like good shows anyway in New York and Barclays Center, so I was off a long time, didn't fight that kind of a show on that level. So it was just like a kind of a setup for the future as well. But I got lucky. I got blessed, and I was fighting on the main event and on the great show against a good opponent and against the champion. So that was it. I was still trying to prepare my best that I can, to show everybody that I'm ready. I am back. I was a little while off the fights and stuff. So, but I'm still here.
You're still there. You're still going, Matt. Now, when you heard that you were fighting Charlo, you're an experienced pro. So, when you know you're fighting Charlo, what goes to your mindset? Is he a fighter that you had a high level of respect for in terms of, wow, this is a great fighter, this is a good fighter, this is a naive fighter, this is a raw fighter, this is a fighter that has holes?
Yeah. My focus was based on kind of my amateur experience as well, because it's kind of helped me to get adjusted with a different style of fighting. So in my mind was just because he's strong, and always come at you, who try to get busy, and not everybody out. So just like, focusing on to not let him do what he wants, to kind of surprise him. Like, be dangerous, that he's not gonna do what he used to do with all the guys, he almost destroyed them. That was an easy job for him. Just make his job difficult, So just that's what happened. He was scared, or he was, not put on that a lot of risk, to throw those too many punches or just come straight at me and, try to knock me out. So that was my focus on the distance as well, because I know my boxing skills is better, than him, especially the technique and footwork, so I can turn the opposite with my positive things against him,
Yes.
So that's what I did, and that was the plan. And we'll see what happened. And yeah, I could have done more and much better. So I analyzed the fight, and it always was, you always have to be thinking that you can do better than you did, and that makes me think positive, makes me, working on some things, just to be better, to be a better fighter.
So you fought Andy Lee, and Andy Lee was noted for his left hand and his big punch. Unfortunately, on that night, Andy Lee was the better fighter on that night. But in terms of Charlo's punching power, how does that compare to Andy Lee?
I don't know. Maybe the same, because Andy Lee just taller, and he's southpaw as well. And I don't know, the Charlo's, he's strong as well, so he's a good puncher, that's for sure, so they're both good fighters, so anyway, and they're both strong, and just the different, it depends on what exactly punch you throw, how you on your feet and stuff, so how you turn your body when you throw the straight shot or uppercuts and hooks. So depends on the situation during the fight. So
okay, so you fought many fighters around the world, amateur and pro. Where would you put the Jamal Charlo in terms of his boxing skill? And how far do you think that skill can go? Because he is still only an interim champion in the middleweight division. How far do you think his skills can go in the middleweight division against the other fighters?
It's hard to say once, and this, like, first of all, and the second of all, so it's boxing. You know, you never know. You know, it's meant to be great fighters, like they talk about Triple G, Canelo, and the other ones. So it's those two big names, and well, I'm not sure, but I guess this fight make him better too, and you might be looking too far to go to about the fight, about his level skills, you know. But for me, it's hard, you know. So it might be go far, maybe not, you know. So maybe we can get the opportunity to fight a rematch. I don't know, you know, and I'll be more prepared. So we'll see how it happens.
You want would you want an immediate rematch, or would you like to move on with your career and go elsewhere?
I'm ready for a match. I'm ready for anybody, you know. So we'll see. Right now it's a holiday. It's hard to say, and we just try best opportunity we can. But definitely try to make the rematch. If not, I'll go make another fight. Hopefully, it's gonna be a big fight soon.
So the other middleweight out there that everybody talks about is Gennady Golovkin. How would you do against Gennady Golovkin? I mean, you're similar ages now, and you're 35, right?
Yes.
And Golovkin's around the same age, or
gonna be 36.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah, so I really respect Gennady. I know him personal, and we fought in amateur like long time ago, and I watched his many fights and stuff, and I know how you need to do with it against him, and that was like good examples, but not good decisions against Canelo. Danny Jacobs did very well against him too, so I have my thoughts to do it, and just working on, get prepared to do anything to win this fight. So
okay,
it's not easy. He's a really great fighter, very high level, and you know, he's a good puncher. You know, he always, like, everybody knows he destroyed everybody, but you know, you have to have a technique, and you have to be very smart against the power. So that's the only thing I know.
Right. Danny Jacobs and Canelo. That's a lot of talk about Canelo and Danny Jacobs fighting potentially for a middleweight unification bout in May. What are your thoughts on that fight, and who would you lean towards?
I think so for Danny. You know, he's like, I see he did a lot of success, and like, you know, he did a judgment for his style and the way he fighting. So, and we'll be interested to watch. Like I said before, you know, it's boxing. Nobody can sure about the fight and the day of the night of the fight. So, you know, you can be a favorite like everywhere, but you can lose the fight. See, you know, somebody maybe knock you out. You know,
okay.
Boxing. No, not joke. So.
Now, there's some things that I'm really interested about you and your career. It says on your Facebook page that you're a free agent. Is that true?
Not yet. I'm like free, but it's not. So I'm working on with that. So my manager's working on it. So
yeah, because I was thinking to myself, Matt Korobov, free agent. I'm thinking there's so many promoters out there that would love to take you on. I mean, I'm thinking to myself, well, hold on, there's Al Heyman.
Yeah, so I would love to, you know, working on some good offers for me, for myself. Everybody just like went onto like you can you can reach my manager or me.
Hold on. Okay, Matt. So I was asking, like, you now, where do you want to be in your boxing career? Because, 35 years old, you're an experienced fighter. Do you want to be a world champion now? Do you want to fight just to, for your family to make sure you're looked after and wealthy? What do you want in terms of a promoter now, 2018 going into 2019?
Of course, to be the world champion. For my team as well. So that's the goal. It's just it's a belt. You know, it's just it's not just the name of like to be a world champion. It's something big. It's something like I was there during the amateur. I know how it feels like, especially right now. I'm proud of myself that I proved that I'm still here. So I'm looking forward to for the opportunities to fight fighting again for the belt. Doesn't matter which division. I'll be happy for anyone.
Okay.
So
you definitely want to fight. You pride yourself on being the best you possibly can be, and you would like to fight for a world title again. Now there are other guys, the WBO belt. One that comes to mind straight away is Demetrius Andrade.
Yep.
Would that be a fight that would interest you?
Yes, that will be good. I mean, I know it's amateur, so it's a southpaw. Even before the NGD, we was talking. It was 4 years ago for WBO.
Yep.
So that was on talking. I fight him. There was the lead. There was Sanders. So there was almost happened, but didn't happen. Right now, he holds the belt. So, like I said, anybody, it would be a great opportunity again, to fight for the title. I'll be preparing and I'll be ready for anybody on the division.
What do you make of Billy Joe Saunders, the former WBO champion?
Say it again.
Billy Joe Saunders. What do you think of Billy Joe Saunders from UK?
Oh, they have a big mouth, that's for sure. But right now, he's a good fighter, southpaw. He's the Eubank, which is strong, good guy, and so that means a lot. So he's still on the top. So I don't think that, but I think to everybody, they all good. It's hard to say personally, but when there's gonna be set up to fight, I will talk more. That's for sure.
So if Matt Korobov, because if I said Matt, I'm your promoter, and I said to you, right, here's a list. Okay, I will make sure you get paid well. Who do you give me your top 4 fighters that you want to face before you retire? Who are the 4 fighters you want to face either in the middleweight division or the super middleweight division? Who would Matt Korobov want to fight if you could? A wish list.
A wish list.
Golovkin?
Canelo.
Canelo?
Yes. I don't know. Ramirez.
Ramirez?
Yes, he was running, but he moved to 75 right now. So
Oh, wow.
it's hard to make it. I don't know. So I would try to not try. Uskategi.
Ustaki, but you beat.
Yes, I beat him.
You beat him.
Already.
What is? How good is this guy? Because he's knocking guys over. He's looking dangerous, and you beat him.
Yes. So I would love to fight him.
Okay.
And what more? I don't know. Let's say Benavides. I should fight him for WBC this summer, but it didn't happen. And maybe in the future, yeah, I would say him.
Who's that?
David Benavides.
David Benavides. Those four. So no Andrade, no Billy Joe Saunders. Interesting. Is that because do you see those guys as bigger fighters and more lucrative, or is it just preferences because of your style?
With everything, I would say my style, I the people know them, especially here. Like I can say maybe 10 of those that I want to fight, but like maybe I live it, so it might be switched to out of one of them. So yeah, it's just like I said before, just the name, the numbers, but anybody, I'll be ready and prepared, and I promise it's gonna be a great fight for the fans,
Okay.
supporters, everybody.
You know, I'm sure you know that the UK is almost like the hub of boxing. It's got so much fans and so many people want to see great fights. Would you be willing to come to the UK and box?
I would love to. Yes, I know I have a lot of friends that was amateur. I have a lot of followers. I have a lot of messages actually from UK after this fight. So use this opportunity. Just want to say big thank you and appreciation from the supporters and still watching and believe in me. So I would love to. I hope one day it's gonna be happen. There will be a good shows, good fight. So hopefully, even I have like invite like people invite me to train there or preparing for the camp. So hopefully we will make it through, and I'll be there one day.
How about Matt Korobov versus Chris Eubank Jr.?
Oh, like I would love to as well. It would be a good fight. He's a good puncher, but he lost Sanders.
And Groves.
So which I was surprised. He lost. I thought she was gonna be winning. He beat him, but Sanders did well against him. And, like we spoke before, the power against Mark Bogdan, it's a really good weapon. So I would love to. Anybody in the division, I would be ready and prepared.
Okay.
That's I'm sure.
Let's talk a bit about boxing. I don't want to use boxing politics, but boxing. What are your thoughts on the recent controversies about judges? Do you think judges should be former boxers, or do you think there should be ruling about judges? Because there are a lot of fighters that take a lot of time to train, and then they work very hard in the gym, and then they get a decision that's not in their favor or not helpful to them.
Exactly. Yeah. Question.
Thank you.
It's really important, like for everybody, like pay, watch the paper, doing the betting and stuff. It's just crazy sometimes. Like even in my fight, like the judge was watching the fight, so he was actually there. Give like 119, 111, just one round to me. Well, many like fights, many like weird decisions. So it should be controlled by the commission. That's for sure. It will be a much better if the judges will be ex or former boxers. Especially maybe not with the huge experience, but at least they know the boxing. You know, they've been through some stuff to know how exactly the boxing. Some of those persons they don't know the box, you know, how they count the punches, what picture they see on the ring. You know, it's just weird and decisions, and that's why some fans they just you know they don't want to watch the fights anymore. You know? They don't want to pay anymore for the pay-per-views and stuff. So we just lost people. In boxing business lost the people this way. So
Yeah.
it's always been, and I think always will, or but just have to be controlled more make decisions, the right decisions. You know, it's all about the commission work. You know, and that's my thought about it.
Very interesting. Do you feel in certain boxing bouts that the A side fighter or the hometown fighter or the broadcaster's fighter, the one who's like either a Showtime fighter or a PBC fighter, whatever fight it may be, under whichever promoter, that they've already won the fight on points, and all they have to do is get to points. Do you feel that's the case with some fighters, that they get preferential treatment?
Oh, I think so. Yeah, still, but you know, like we have a different rule, especially in the amateur right now, and it should be yes, of course. It's all still like how many punches you landed and stuff. It's still kind of about the points too. You know, and it will be fair, will be a part of it, or you know, I think it's a hard work, but it should be done. You know, to make the decisions right. Or it should be come, like, comes together amateur pro or separate that. No, it's got to right away to put it on the in my mind to make it right, but should we work together to make it boxing better for the people who watch it, you know. So the boxing is one of the oldest discipline on the history of sport. So we just need to make it right, you know, for everybody.
I want to talk a bit about your amateur background. How much of that amateur background do you think has helped you in the pro game?
A lot. Because it was like I was saying before, you know, you have to fight in the short notice, different style, different fire classes. Mentally makes you stronger, more prepared for anybody. You know, you just because some of the good fighters, you know, they was physically ready, good in shape, strong, and everything, but their mind wasn't there. So that amateur experience helps you a lot with the different style, preparing your body, your mental, you know, for the big fights too. You know, so it's definitely helpful. It's definitely I'm proud that I've done myself, and I was like get another win for my country, for my club. So during the national team and before. So
Okay.
I've been through the national team since I was 13.
Wow.
So and yeah, I've been through all the ages in the national team. So I'm proud of myself that I've done this. You know.
Help me out with something here. It's something I'm noticing a lot, particularly in the UK, where they put fighters who've got Olympic backgrounds and very good amateur backgrounds against guys who have very limited amateur backgrounds, but have devastating knockouts as pros. When they come to fight, the guy with the amateur background with the Olympic pedigree or the world pedigree always comes out on top. Yet the guy with the both guys could fight. One could have 5 knockouts, and he's the guy who's fought in the Olympics and has fought always had world amateur experience or European experience. And then you've got a guy who's only fought a handful of amateur fights and is very not exposed to that. And they end up getting beat every single time. But the promoters put it out as 50-50 fights. Talk to me about what really goes on between that experienced amateur fighter who may have had few fights and that pro fighter that's had plenty of fights.
Yeah, like definitely, like you said, it's the word experience, because you more depends on the amateur experience that you've been through, So the pro boxing is just different. Like it's two different, maybe discipline, the boxing, but it works together. But you imagine if it's pro amateur, pro works together, it should be a good, perfect situation. So, and the pro style, it's not many. Something. It depends on the person, of course. It depends on the way of coaching, the pro style and the amateur. So like the way like the pro fighting against amateur, he can destroy him with the pro style. The same amateur will destroy the pro with his style. It's kind of equal sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes amateur is very high, pro is very low. The opposite of movie. So that's why we love boxing. It speaks to everything. Hard to explain.
Okay, there are a lot of people across social media who are disgusted with the score 119-108. They can't get it. They don't understand it. They like, well, hold on. So you're basically saying to me that Matt Korobov won a round or didn't win even a round against Charlo, which is ridiculous. Is there anything you can do to appeal that decision, or is that something you just say, you know what, it is what it is, let's move on?
Of course, yeah. Like what I can change people, down and talk more about it. I'm happy that I did. I'm happy that I've done. I respect Charlo to get a fight, to get the opportunity to fight against him, and I just let it on the judge, the commission as well. So there's nothing I can do. I was just done my job as much as I can. That's in their hands, decisions and everything still. So I mean, I'm just like you said, I'm moving on. I'm looking positive. I'm glad that I could have done more, and it makes me happy. It makes me, train right now. Even like I'm a week off, but I was like 3 days at the gym already. So because I was like went to swim, relax, and a few days when I get back. So using sound and stretching, So today I'm planning to go do a little shopping, get some food for the tomorrow celebrate, and I'm gonna ride tonight. I'm gonna run it tonight. So
wow,
because I feel I'm kind of been a week off, and I feel kind of I need to do something.
I understand. The machine keeps going.
Exactly. Yeah, you get gas on him. So there will be days to have time with my boy and with my wife.
Yeah.
So I just need to get back on the schedule. My body needed, my mind tells me to do something. So and I will.
So Matt, I hear this said a lot by boxers, and I don't know if you agree or disagree with this. Hence why I'm asking you. You hear fighters say, "I've just made a superstar or a hype train or a guy that's been very much promoted. I've just exposed him. Now I've done that. Nobody's going to want to fight me because I was so awkward and I almost took somebody's unbeaten record. So that doesn't help me get in big fights." Do you agree with that statement or do you disagree with that statement?
I think I agree. know that there was especially the Saturday night fight against Charles. There was 2.5 million viewers, so that means a lot. And, like yes, I'm free, definitely. So for the future, people wants to pay and watch and go to see the fight. So we need to raise the boxing, So it's just not that much great fights and anymore like used to, So depends on the promotion and stuff. So it's a lot of details. It's business,
Okay.
So we're part of it. So I agree.
Let's talk a little bit more about Eastern Europe. Let's talk about Alexander Usyk and the year he's had.
Okay.
What do you think of Usyk and what he's done, and whether he'll be a success at heavyweight?
Heavyweight, he's really strong. He's really special, And I'm not surprised actually. Done a lot in the amateur. And he was, he trained hard and be success, especially, to be a special, like Lomachenko and the other Ukrainian light heavyweight.
Govotsky.
So, say it again.
Govotsky. The light heavyweight, the guy that beat Adonis Stevenson. Govotsky.
Gvozdyk.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
So, so it's right time to turn to the pro. Good way to put them on the fights too. So they was just too ready for this, and I'm really happy for them. Wish all the best for them, and not surprising because I know them since the amateur. Not surprising why they success in our pro.
Okay. So. Let's talk a bit about your countryman, Alexander Povetkin.
Okay, yeah, Alex. I know him since I moved to the national team when I was like 19. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Did you? Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, he didn't watch the fight against Joshua.
Yes.
But he definitely did good, and especially at the beginning of the fight, he's a warrior. Like he's a Russian soldier. I like him. I love him. As a boxer. So
cool.
That was a special fight for him. It's really good. So,
are there any fighters in Russia we should look out for? Up and coming?
I don't watch that many Russian fights, that Russian shows they did, and I don't know. I don't know. Sergey, of course.
Kovalev?
Best of luck for him. We know each other a long time since we was kids. So I really wish him good luck to get his title back.
Okay.
Take support for him from my team.
Okay. Final question, Matt. You've been really great. With Deontay Wilder.
Yes, against Wilder.
Okay. What did you?
Really how he get up after the knockdowns. So he did. I wasn't surprised. Klitschko's anyway. With his style, he did really good work. So.
What were your thoughts on the knockdown? Because everyone talks about the knockdown. Some people said Tyson beat the count. Other people say he didn't beat the count. What are your thoughts?
I don't see it. I read somebody comment that was like 15 seconds. I don't feel that. But yeah, he was looking like sleep. And like all of a sudden he wake up. Maybe he did that on purpose, maybe not. Nobody knows. just like I said, I was really glad that he did. And there was a good heavyweight fights, especially between two good fighters, the Wilder and him.
Okay. Final question, Matt. And this is a fantasy question. Final question. If you could sign for any promoter in the world, like any promoter in the world, and a dream, you got any promoter in the world and your dream fight, who would be your promoter currently and who would be the fight you could have? One fight, one promoter, one night. Who would it be?
Best deal.
No, you can't come up with no best deal business. Now you've been a politician, Matt. We want promoter and fight. Dream fight.
I'll be quiet.
Something must be going on, Matt. Something must be going on.
No. Not yet. Let's wait after the holiday to talk about it.
That sounds good. Matt Korobov, thank you so much for talking to BWTM Sports. If people want to reach out to you, promoters listening to this, how do they reach you or reach your manager?
So I'm open. So just text me. Just send me email with the offer.
So you are Matt. It's Matt. Yes, Matt Korobov. So which is the real Matt Korobov? Because remember, I spoke to you. I thought maybe this isn't the right Matt Korobov. So I was a bit surprised, but it is actually you. So how do people recognize it's you? Which is the picture of you so people can see it's you as Matt Korobov?
One of the Instagram, there's one with there I raised my flag, Russian flag. That's on the Instagram, and on the Facebook page, I'm with black sports suit. So like ask me some questions where and I respond to you. So
Okay.
that's really me. So, yeah, I know it's a lot of fakers. I'm answer right away. Something special.
Okay.
That's for sure.
Matt Korobov, once again, thank you for talking to me. We look forward to speaking to you more in the future. And also, we look forward to hearing great news.
So, thank you. Best of luck and God bless your whole families.
Thank you so much, Matt Korobov. All the best.
All right. Bye.
Take care, Matt.
Take care.
Bye-bye. So there we have it, Matt Korobov, live on BWTN Sports. Stay tuned. There may be others. Thanks for watching.